Hello and welcome to Financial Education Foundation. My name is Warren Shute, and today, Family Father's Day and finances. Okay, Family Father's Day and finances. What's it all about? You know, for all the dads out there listening, all the grandfathers out there listening, big shout out. I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a great day. Today is Father's Day, and I just wanted to do a quick roundup on the key points really about finances and Father's Day. An action group, Child Poverty Action Group, recorded that it cost about £75,000 to raise a child from birth to 18, and that didn't cover the costs of education, university, private school fees, that kind of thing. So it's a tremendous amount of money, but it's something that I am a father myself of two, and I'm very proud of it, and I enjoy it very much. I take it as a real responsibility to both engage my children in money, but also empower them, to give them the sort of the power over it, rather than allowing money to control them. And I just wanted to cover through a few things that I do with my children to see if there were things that you might want to take off into your world. So lifelong lessons around pocket money is a key thing for me. We started giving pocket money at a very young age. We have a strategy around pocket money. We're quite sort of serious. I don't know if the right word is serious, but we have a system around pocket money that we've done for many, many years. And basically, I believe that pocket money is a great way to teach your children about earnings and money, okay, budgeting in a safe, simple environment. So they have some money coming in, and they then have things to pay out of that money. So this is how we work it in our house. So pocket money is linked to their age. We pay £2 per year of their age per month. So £2 per year of their age per month. So a 14-year-old would get £28 a month, and that 14-year-old for that £28 a month would buy their wants. Now we would still obviously buy their needs, and there's quite a sort of clear sort of cut. So for example, school items, going to school trips, that kind of thing, their needs, we cover those without a doubt. If there's something that they want, then they would cover it. So sort of a clear-cut one really is the Xbox. I don't think it's a need, it's a want. So my son pays for the Xbox out of his own money on that one. And what he's doing is he's learning in his brain the trade-off between money and in a reward, a pleasure. So do I want this? Would I rather keep the money, or do I want the Xbox Live system that he buys? But also what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them to make decisions about money, and also understand that money runs out. So if they go and spend all their money on day one, well, actually they're not going to get paid again for another 28 days or 29 days. So, what am I going to do for the rest of the month? So it's budgeting. Regards present stuff, we also expect them to buy gifts out of that money. So we expect them to buy their friends gifts, their family members gifts, that kind of thing, at birthdays and such like. And as a whole, they do a great job. They do a really, really good job. When it comes to around sort of giving the money, they earn the money. So we get them to do chores around the house. So whatever that might work for you. Our kids have put the rubbish out and just get the house tidy. They probably do more than they need to, if I'm honest. I hope they're not listening to this. So they've kind of grown up from it from a very, very young age. We had a caveat. We still got it, but I guess we don't need it so much anymore. A caveat in the spending in their younger years, that if they wanted to spend more than £1 a year of their age, so at 10 years old, if they want to spend more than £10, they would need to check in with the parent first and say, okay, well, look, this is what I want to buy. This is why I want to buy it. And I've done a bit of research, and this is the best price I can get it for. Because sometimes at a younger age, when they've got some money, they would just go off and spend it. And you think, well, what did you just waste all that money on? So we're trying to be fair, but trying to empower them to make good money decisions. I think these are really good strategies for a young age, for children to sort of get used to money. So £2 per month for each year of their age. The amount of money doesn't make any difference. If 50p is affordable to you, then 50p is the limit. Everything's relative. And if you're a particularly wealthy family, £5, then £5 limit. I would probably kind of urge not to overindulge with money, because what you want to try and do is get them to appreciate things as opposed to just appreciate spending money. So we do £2 per month for each year of their age. If they spend over £1, they check in and just say, hey, look, this is what we're buying. And sometimes if it's a bit of a spurious sort of thing that they're going to buy, we'd get them to sleep on it. We'll say, okay, well, look, we're okay if you buy it, but we want you to buy it tomorrow or the next day. Just want you to sleep on it for a day or two. If you still want it, then you can get it. And quite often they'd forget about it. But that's going back in time now. My children are now 14 and 16, so things have all moved on a little bit. They would buy their wants, so they want the Xbox game, Amazon purchases, that kind of thing. Trainers is a grey area. We're willing to pay X amount of money for trainers. My son always wants to buy 10X on the trainers, so we'll compromise, not necessarily halfway, but we'll say, okay, well, this is what we're willing to pay, and then he'll often put his money towards the different and make up the rest, doing it that way. So it's kind of like a relationship with money. And we link it to chores around the house. So we say, okay, these are things you need to do, and I don't need to do it now. I can't remember the last time I've done it, but certainly in the early days when they didn't do those chores, I'd remind them they didn't do them. I would just cut down the money. So say, for example, they missed the rubbish going out 2 times in a 4-week period. I'd deduct half their pocket money for that month, and they'd be like, well, I only got half my pocket money. You only did half the job. And that's what happens. When you do half the job, you get half the pay. And then they soon remember. They soon pick up very, very quickly on the way it's going. But the OSPA card's really good. And then when they turned 13, they were able to have a bank account. So they now have an account with a bank that we bank with. So they do it that way. But the OSPA card has a fee to it. There's another one called Go Henry. I like them. I think they're very, very good because I think the fee is modest in relation to the lesson that your children are going to learn about money. And you empowering your children with money is very, very important, I'd say. But moving on to investments in children, I'm very, very keen, twofold, I guess. One, for you as a parent to set aside some money for your children's future. I do have an acronym, not an acronym, I do have a mantra, now, then, them. Which is basically you look after the present state, so your own finances now, you look after your future state then, so your own retirement, and then you look after your children. So I don't want you to start jumping ahead and putting money away for your children's university fees and things. What is a priority, I think, is you get your emergency cash, your will, and your life insurance, the foundations of the money of the house of wealth in place to start off with, and then you start making sure you've got a strategy in place for your own retirement, and then you can start helping them fund their future, because starting early works really well with time. With compound growth is amazing. But one thing you can do now, which doesn't really cost anything, is start talking to them about investments. Now, you may not know much about investments yourself, so you just say, hey, come clean, and just say, hey, look, one of the things I wished I'd have known when I was your age, or when I was younger, was more about investments. I don't know anything about investments. Do you care to learn with me? Just learn a bit about it, and then start learning together. It's a great habit to get your children into the habit of saving money and putting money aside to their investing for their future. And what I've done is on their birthday every year, sort of sat down with them, not necessarily on their birthday, but around that period of time, and just said, hey, okay, let's buy a share. Let's buy a stock of something. And we always bought shares in companies that they were interested in or passionate about. So my son bought stocks in the likes of Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla. I'm trying to think what else. I forget. They were his main ones. My daughter liked the stocks, Facebook again, Netflix, Disney, I think Apple. I forget, if I'm honest, because over the years we've developed it and we've bought more. But what I did is in the early stage, just said, okay, what do you like? What's one of your favorite things that you like doing? So my daughter loved Disney. Well, let's look at Disney. Look, this is Disney, so you can only, and I share that experience with them. And one of the things I did do is I took them to McDonald's. Just the 3 of us. We sat down, we got a meal, and I said, that there are, I'm trying to work it out. There are 3 people in this relationship in McDonald's. There are 3 types of people. There are us right now, the consumer. We come in and we buy this food and we enjoy it and then we leave. Okay, so we've left money there. There are the employees who work here. They come in every day, and typically for minimum wage or for a low wage, they work and they do a very good job in the main of keeping the place clean and serving you food and cooking the food, and we enjoy that food. Okay, so out of those 2 people, you kind of decide who's got the better end of the stick. But then there's a third person in the relationship, or a third group of people, and they're the people who own McDonald's. They're the people who, rather than spend all their money in McDonald's, have decided to buy a slice of McDonald's. You can buy a share of McDonald's. And this is when I opened my iPad and I brought up the share price. And I said, well, this is the McDonald's share price. And I think I actually even went to a stage where I said, well, look, if we'd have bought one share back 20 years ago, instead of buying a meal, we bought a share. Look how much that share would be worth today. And I was very fortunate. I think the share 20 years ago was something like $10 or $15 or something. And now it's like $75 or $85 or something. It had a tremendous run. And they're like, wow, you kind of got to think. And it's like, the reason that has appreciated over time, gone up, is because these good people who work here have been serving the food. You've been parting with your money and spending the food. And it may cost them £4 to make, but they're selling it to £5, and that £1 can go in as profit. And when you're an owner of the company, you participate in that profit, and you participate in two ways. One, through capital appreciation of the share goes up, and also two, by the company paying out dividends. They can pay money out to you every 6 months, or in the States it's every 3 months. If you don't have the money, don't worry. It's not all about, you don't always have to have money to do this. There, you can go to the londonstockexchange.com website, and you go on there, londonstockexchange.com, and you can set up a virtual account, a dummy account. So you can paper trade virtually. You can trade virtually. So you can basically have the conversation with your son or daughter, say, okay, well, let's buy these shares, and you're basically buying them but not part with any money. Obviously, you don't participate in any profits. You're just doing it on the screen. But it's a great learning experience for you to share with your children about how to invest. Okay, so they're the things that I think you can do for your children, or with your children, as I say. Some of the things that you should, I think you really seriously should be doing yourself as an individual, as a parent, as a father, is protecting your income. You know, it's very likely that your income is a contributor, probably a significant contributor, but definitely a contributor towards the household and how things run. And if that income got turned off through death or disability, how's the whole household going to be? So to be a great father, great parent, my belief is that you should then look at insuring your income if it's necessary. And I appreciate not all of you need to insure your income, but if it's necessary, taking out some kind of insurance. So for death, I would recommend you look at a family income benefit plan. Very inexpensive, pays out a monthly amount on death, and it'll pay out until end date that you agree. Typically choose something like a retirement date, or maybe until the children are 25 years old. And you just know then, if you do something crazy, or if life hits you in the wrong way, something happens, your life's over, the income that you are earning can continue tax-free until the end date of that policy. So it's called a family income benefit plan, and pays out on death, or death in critical illness if you want it to. And the second one that I think you should look at is an income protection plan, so disability insurance. So income protection plan simply means if you have an accident, you are unable to work through long-term sickness or an accident, after a waiting period, anything from maybe a month to 6 months, depending on how much money you got in the bank to tide you over, this will kick in and pay you an income. So it's almost like long-term sick pay with work. Now, some employers will pay full pay for 6 months, half pay for 6 months, and then it finishes. So you probably want this to kick in after a year in that case. But if you're self-employed, you may not have anything, and you could then maybe go for one of the providers with just a 4-week window if you don't have much money behind you. But a sick pay disability insurance is probably more important, arguably, than the life insurance, because you're still there. You still need caring. You still need looking after. So that's the two main insurances that I'd want you to look at, being a great parent. And then the final thing I think is essential for every parent, particularly for dependent children, okay, I think it's essential for anyone over the age of 18, but particularly if you have dependent children, is a will. So a will basically just says, okay, if I've passed away, this is what should happen to my estate. Really inexpensive to arrange, really straightforward, but I think it's a real must for every parent. Now, if you have dependent children and you don't have a will, and something happens to both parents, i.e. they both died, car accident, these things happen, then your children go into social services care until the court decides who should care for them. Now, you don't want that, I'm sure you don't, and that's why having a will in place which dictates, or stipulates, should I say, who your guardians will be, is so essential to have in place. So guys, that's it for the Father's Day special. A couple of key things around learning, teaching lessons for the children around pocket money, helping them to learn to invest. Go and check out the londonstockexchange.com website for the virtual paper trading account. And then the 2 or 3 key insurances really is insure your income on death, insure your income on disability, and make sure your estate's all tied up with your will. Thanks for listening. If you get any questions, please drop me a message. I always reply to them. And until next time, stay safe. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. There's a great number of back issues to go through, and remember, what makes us different on your financial journey is the support with access to downloads and templates on warrenshute.com, the YouTube videos and podcasts, as well as access to me, a multi-award winning certified financial planner and certified international coach. So please do engage, and let's get your finances sorted together.